The Soul Story, week 15 of a long season. The week before, they had clinched to go to 11-3. A letdown look likely? No way. It's time to walk the plank. Walk the Plank is presented by Foods Galore, preferred food supplier for Chickies and Pete's since the start. Bargain Car, Truck and Van Rental in Brookhaven, Broomall, and Chadds Ford. Bradford White Water Heaters, the official water heater of the Philadelphia Soul. Geno's Steaks, the best cheesesteaks in Philadelphia since 1966. Susquehanna Bank, the preferred banking partner of the Philadelphia Soul. Valley Forge Casino Resort, located just 2 minutes from the King of Prussia Mall on North Gulf Road. And by Bud Light. Here we go. And welcome again to Walk the Plank. I'm Lou Tilley, inside Chickie and Pete's, the home of the Soul. This is the Soul Story. They go to 12-3 with their latest win on what they think is a championship season. Walk the Plank brought to you by Foods Galore. And right here at their main provider of the foods to Chickie and Pete's, Lou Tilley, Tom Goodhines, and Doug Plank, after whom the show is named. Doug, you did start slow. You're down 13-7 in the second quarter, but you just won't let this team take a night off.
The bottom line is, I put high priority on effort, and there are going to be times that you're not going to have your best game or your best day. And it took a while for us to get started. But what I wanted to see was effort on the line of scrimmage, on offense, defense, downfield by our specialists. And I really felt like we were getting that, especially on special teams. The rest of it is going to take care of itself, because if you have that focus and you have that effort, it'll take care of itself.
69-34 was the final score, and that's all the more remarkable when you realize that the Soul trailed Pittsburgh in the second, as I mentioned, 13-7, and you outscored them 62-21 the rest of the way. That even with a late touchdown by Pittsburgh.
You know, it's one of those things, you know, there's been so much notoriety about our offense. Of course, the great job Dan has done, you know, this year in terms of delivering the ball to our wide receivers, and a great job of our offensive line. But just slowly, over the course of the year, you know, we've started developing a pass rush. And I say pass rush because pass rush really, it causes your whole defense to get better. That's where pass defense starts, putting pressure on the quarterback. And the job those guys did over the weekend was incredible.
Now, with the ability of how the defense has been playing, Jacksonville, you only gave up 27 points, 34 points this week. Expect much of the same against Tampa this weekend? You
know, Tampa is really, they have a quarterback that's starting to play for them that hasn't been there all year. Nick Hill was with the NFL for a few months working out with them. And so he's back now, a strong-arm quarterback, really reads defense as well. But the bottom line is, I don't care how good your quarterback is, you start getting defensive pass rush.
Let's talk about then, because our guests tonight are Clint Dolezel, the offensive coordinator and the former quarterback now nominated to the AFL Hall of Fame, and Dan Rotteball, his protege, who is taking the team to the playoffs now for the Soul. Let's talk about the defense. You had 7 more defensive stops in a league where if you have more than 2, you usually win. For the second week in a row, 7 defensive stops for your team, including some big turnovers in the game.
Well, let me just say this. You know, going into this game, we knew they had the #1 defense in giving up fewest yards and points in the AFL. So that was we knew that was going to be a struggle. It was going to be a challenge for our offense. On the flip side of that, Pittsburgh is one of the lowest scoring teams in the Arena Football League. So why shouldn't our defense take advantage of it? So I went into them all week. Listen, this is a team that we have to be able to dominate on our defense. And I'm not saying we did that totally, because, you know, there were times during the game where I think we lost focus at times, but I think overall the defense came to play.
Single a couple of guys out, you talk about that pass rush and how much that makes a difference for you. Justin Warren, you always gush about his motor and how he continues to hustle after the play. Brian Robinson, who had a record-setting 7th block on the season. Those are just 2 of the pieces, but there's TJ Langley's having a great season.
Let's stop you right there.
Perkins.
T.J. Langley, after an interception, comes peeling back and makes the block of the year, maybe.
It's one of the comments that I made after the game, I really feel like interceptions, we really preach that. You know, I'm proud of our defense because they lead the league in takeaways with fumble recoveries and interceptions. But something about a big hit, you know, many times I've been involved in them so I don't see them, but you stand on a sideline and you see a person representing your team, you know, a teammate, a player, go ahead and make a big hit. Our sideline was never the same after that.
Is that right?
Everybody was diving to get back into the game, rushing, volunteering for special teams, anything they could do. So there's no doubt that really added to the emotion of the game.
A couple, and getting back to those guys, Langley a new addition, Warren a new addition, Brandon Perkins missing time early for injury, but he's back in the mix. These guys seem to gel pretty quickly.
One thing I like about it, you know, it's not one of those things, everybody says, oh, geez, you're bringing all these players in from all over the country, and they're not going to like each other. You're going to have, you know, the animosity that you had with some other teams, you know, in this town. I go, no, that's not going to happen. If they're not teammates, if they're not friends with each other, I'm just going to get rid of them. It's as simple as that.
And you have.
You know, it's been, I don't want to say it's a bus station, but you know what? If you don't want to become a teammate here, don't do it.
I have a lot of time on my hands, you see. So at one point you were 5-2, and I thought that was pretty good. And that's when you started reshaping your whole defense, and there were 5 guys that came and went after that. Since then, you've been averaging 13 fewer points a game allowed. So I guess you made the right choice.
Well, I don't know about that, but I think the best is yet to come.
Good answer, and a good way to get to the break. When we come back next, let's tell you about the next home game that's coming up in a couple of weeks, right here at the Wells Fargo Center. You'll also see it on TV. But get your tickets and come down and see them now before they start out in the playoffs on July 28th at 888-789-SOUL and PhiladelphiaSoul.com. And the keys to the offense coming back. Clint Dolezel will join us, talk about his quarterback, and you'll meet Dan the Man when we come right back on Walk the Plank.
If you've been seriously injured in an auto accident, remember this name. If you're being pressured by the insurance company to take a settlement that isn't fair, remember this name. If you need someone to fight for you to get the money you deserve, remember this name. Lundy Law. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW. Winning millions for clients in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware for over 50 years.
The Soul are breaking down walls, along with records, the best in the Arena League. Another title in sight this summer. Get your seats now. Next home game, July 8th. 888-789-SOUL. And online at PhiladelphiaSoul.com.
You have 25 hours of things to do every day and just 24 hours to do them. Finding time to manage your money can be a chore. Susquehanna Bank offers a variety of checking options to help. Whether you're on the road, at home, or anywhere in between. And even though convenience is its own reward, it's just one of the many we offer. Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts for busy people like you. Member FDIC.
Scott, he do a great job for us, whether it be, you know, the steak meat, the lobster, everything is our own brand. It's a testimonial to Foods Galore.
Service is what's made our company. Loyalty, reliability, honesty. Your growth was one of the main reasons why I evolved in the business.
People look at Chicky and Pete's as a success story, but it's actually your success story. It works just like a marriage, because I still have my wife and I still have you.
Welcome back to Walk the Plank, the Soul Story, here on the Comcast Network and Comcast Sportsnet's our friends and our broadcast home all this year. The Soul now 12-3 after their latest win in Week 15 at the Wells Fargo Center on Sunday by 69-31 over 34 over the Pittsburgh not so powerful Power here. The Soul Story brought to you by Foods Galore, our sponsor here and the maker of the new exclusive line of Artisan's Pride's Meats. And it was a pretty meaty win for Clint Dolezel and his offensive squad. Tom Goodhines, the general manager, joined us. Clint, we haven't had you on for a while, and we talked with Doug about how he's retooled his defense in those weeks significantly, giving your offense a little better field position, but you've had to rejuggle your whole offensive line since then as well.
Well, we're actually luxury to have great offensive linemen, in backups, and they're not, our team, we don't have backups. We got a bunch of starters that are just having to wait their turns at time, and we're fortunate to have those guys.
Yeah, and one of them even caught a touchdown pass yesterday after the other guy, who you gave a chance to when we hit him on this pretty hard last week, dropped the ball, but everybody caught the ball yesterday, which is a key to your offense, spreading it around.
We did. We would have had 6 touchdowns if 2 of them had been called back to different receivers, which is unheard of. It's great. We got great talent around us. Greg Ryan, the guy you mentioned, the tight end that caught the ball, was with us last year in Dallas. Actually, was a center for us last year in Dallas, so he's a very good athlete.
Wow, how about that, Tom?
Receivers that you have on the squad with Tiger Jones and Donovan Morgan and Hewley and Brackens, how tough is the decision on how to distribute the ball? Is it more of what the defense is showing, or is it one of the receivers getting in the air saying, hey, I got this guy, give me the ball?
It's not like that. The only way you can really go, by just throwing to individual person, if they're going to play nothing but man, and that's pretty much suicide in our game if you play us man to man. And we've got all 4 of our receivers super healthy right now, and I'm excited about where we're heading.
For those that don't know Clint, and this is his first year in town, he's the assistant head coach. Last year was the head coach of the Dallas Vigilantes and brought about half of his squad with him, literally. And we talk about you bringing along your quarterback from Dallas last year, Dan Raudabaugh, just his second year. We talked in the pregame about it yesterday. Here you are being nominated for the AFL Hall of Fame, but you said yesterday it still took you 3 or 4 years before you really got the rhythm of the indoor game.
No question. That might have been really low. I mean, it probably could have been 5 or 6, honestly. And Dan's way ahead of where I was my first 2 years in the arena football game. And, the sky's the limit for him. I said that yesterday. He's getting better each week. He's getting better each year. And the more he plays, the better he's going to get.
Well, let's talk about that, because the game starts off on your very first offensive play from scrimmage. He throws an interception. It could have been the start of a disastrous night. Instead, what happened at that point? Did you have a little talk to refocus?
It's not even a refocus. There's a lot going on out there for a quarterback, to be honest with you. It just looks simple. He threw it right to the guy. Well, he's having to read the backside corner on the fly. He's having to read the inside where the safety's outside or head up or inside. He's having to read the field corner if he's falling off. And he's finding a jack linebacker in that too. So that all happens in about 1.5 seconds. So it's not as easy as it looks on TV.
I know.
After that, he settled down, played well. And
he was near
took
flawless.
He was great. And again, a credit to our offensive line. They do a great job protecting. No sacks again last night. And I'm really looking forward. You mentioned earlier about we had already clinched and possibly a letdown. We played harder last night than we did any game the whole season.
So
I'm happy about that.
That's great.
Roll out some of the credentials for you. I know you don't like talking about the playing days a lot. 931 touchdowns, over 44,000 yards, and countless playoff appearances, a title to your credit back in 2001 in Grand Rapids. 1, how's the itch to get back in it there yourself? And 2, how do you convey some of that experience to this team about a playoff run and positioning themselves to make a run?
3 weeks to go.
My playing days obviously are over, but my competitiveness is what I try to push on those guys, to get out there and compete no matter what the situation is. No matter if we're up 20, down 20, you go out and do your job, and usually good things will happen. And I see us, taking on that. A lot of our guys are, they're great athletes. We got them here for a reason. It doesn't, always matter that you're the best one out there. A lot of times that thing inside your chest beats a lot harder than how good of an athlete you are.
Clint Doezell, scratch handicap? Is that what it is?
Nah, I'm probably about a 6 or 7.
Really? Yeah. And yet you threw a 70 up there last week, didn't you?
No.
You see that? You're not going to get strokes for that. When I get now the word's out on that.
Cat's out of the bag now.
Clint loves it. We've enjoyed talking golf too, and a very bright football mind, and really making things. 3 games to go now. Clint Doezell as we head towards the playoffs. And here is the remaining schedule for the Soul in the regular season. On the road this week at Tampa Bay, and you can only see that online. Then home games available for your ticket requests against Spokane. We'll broadcast that one in Utah, and then the playoffs on the 28th. Back with his protege, Dan Raudabaugh, right after this break.
The Soul are breaking down walls, along with records, the best in the Arena League. Another title in sight this summer. Get your seats now. Next home game, July 8th. 888-789-SOUL. And online at PhiladelphiaSoul.com.
I do a lot of weird stuff to save money.
Carpooling.
We clip coupons. Coupons. Coupons.
You gotta eat leftovers, man. You got to.
Susquehanna Bank knows you're always looking for ways to save money.
Well, I eat in a lot more than I used to.
I use this to get places.
I buy generic everything. We use those swirly light bulbs.
You work hard for your money, and Susquehanna can help you keep more of it with free checking. Open your account today. Susquehanna Bank, doing what counts. Member FDIC.
If you've been seriously injured in an auto accident, remember this name. If you're being pressured by the insurance company to take a settlement that isn't fair, remember this name. If you need someone to fight for you to get the money you deserve, remember this name. Lundy Law. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW. Winning millions for clients in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware for over 50 years.
Oh, how sweet is that? Welcome back to Walk the Plank, the Soul Show from Chickies and Pete's, brought to you by Foods Galore. That was Sunday night's latest Soul win as they go to 12-3 on the season, and that's Jeff Hewley, mainly known as a kick returner. But what a catch, maybe the catch of the week in the AFL. Lou Tilley along with Tom Goodhines, and now the man that made the throw, Dan Rodabaugh. And you do this by design. Those throws are designed to go right to the walls on both sides and at the back, but even that was an exceptional grab last night.
I mean, we call him ridiculous for a reason. He makes ridiculous plays like that.
Wow.
And we'd actually called the exact same play a few plays before, and we'd got a look that we weren't expecting, but we could have taken advantage of it. I threw the check down to Donovan, and we went right back to it, and I said, you know what? We're going to go over this guy's head right here and put it out there. Jeff had, I mean, it takes incredible focus to find that wall, find the ball, and then especially you go in the first row to catch it.
He almost caught the back end of the ball, though, with the fingertips.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Snow cone type thing. Yeah, amazing, Tom.
94 touchdown passes this year, 90 yet
15 games, yeah.
Last year had 90 in your rookie season. Back-to-back 90. That's not an easy accomplishment in this league.
I mean, it's a tribute to everybody in the whole organization, but I mean, it starts up front with the O-line. All 5 guys we've had in there so far: Brennan, Christian, Zip, Greg, and Devin, and Derek as a blocker. I mean, they're as good as it gets, and I'll take those guys to war with me any day. But I mean, you know, we've got a good scheme. We've got guys who buy in, they believe in it, and we just got to go out there and execute. And it's the nature of the game. Going to score points, and it's fun to do it. So.
In your rookie season last year, the way the season wound down for you, there was a lot of injuries with Dallas, and you guys kind of limped into the postseason. What kind of things do you sense for this year, this team? And right now, knocking on wood, everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
How's the attitude and the atmosphere with the guys in the locker room?
Well, last night, victory was 5 in a row, and that's always good. This is about the time you want to catch stride, and we're playing well as a team. You know the atmosphere around there. Everyone's upbeat. We're like a tight-knit family, and yes, we're very fortunate to be getting healthy at the right times, and we're lucky to have Devin and Greg step in on the O-line for Christian and Zip, and they've done a tremendous job. But you know, this is the time of the year when it's supposed to be hitting on all cylinders, and it's a tribute to Coach, all the coaching staff for getting us to where we need to be. And
just the end of the schedule here now for the Soul. I mean, it's Tampa who's fighting for a playoff spot, and then you got 2 teams from the West that are legitimately could win that division still.
The one that's already beaten you and later one on you pretty good.
Spokane and Utah. That kind of sets up nice for the team as far as rolling into the playoffs. It's almost like your playoffs are now.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to win the division and clinch a playoff berth already, but it's almost like we're playing playoff football right now. And it's a good mindset for the guys to have. I think we practice hard already, and that we just need to continue doing that every day. So.
You know, we always catch you on the sidelines because you go over to talk with Clint on virtually every play, and certainly when you head back to the bench again, who we just had on the show, Clint goes up. It's an unusual relationship. You can see the angst in your faces sometimes. And yet you're good buddies off the field too.
Yeah, I mean, what's not to like about Coach Tozell? He might get fired up a little bit.
You can tell me, I don't know.
Well, he might be watching, but we've got a good rapport on and off the field. I mean, he's the greatest to ever play. the position
Yeah.
in the arena game, and I'm just very fortunate to be in his system, be under his wing, and you know, we get along well. We're able to tell jokes and stuff. And if I've got to make a bad play and he jumps on me for it, you know what? You got to have a short-term memory and just go out there, because he's going to call another play. You better be ready for it. So.
And how many players have that opportunity where the coach will, you know, you'll make a play and it's not the way the coach wanted? We'll jump in and say, "No, Dan, it's like this," and we'll actually come in and throw the ball the way he wants.
Yeah, well, I've seen
Dan
that.
to throw
That's
it.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It ain't no Buddy Ryan on the sidelines with you guys, that's for sure. Dan Rotteball, number 5, and number 5 and up in almost every statistical category in the AFL, clinched a playoff spot, and hoping that you'll come out and see them before this season runs out. Here's what it looks like. A couple of games ahead still at home at the Wells Fargo Center, and then on the 28th, the first playoff game is already set, and it's set for the Wells Fargo Center here in Philadelphia, the top seed, the Soul. Get your tickets at 888-789-SOUL. Go online at philadelphiasoul.com. You'll see the number throughout the show. We're back with Coach Doug Plank to talk about the playoffs right after this.
If you've been seriously injured in an auto accident, remember this name. If you're being pressured by the insurance company to take a settlement that isn't fair, remember this name. If you need someone to fight for you to get the money you deserve, remember this name. Lundy Law. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW. Winning millions for clients in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware for over 50 years.
Scott, he's doing a great job for us, whether it be, you know, the steak meat, the lobster, everything is our own brand. It's a testimonial to Foods Galore.
Service is what's made our company. Loyalty, reliability, honesty. Your growth was one of the main reasons why I evolved in the business.
People look at Chicky and Pete's as a success story, but it's actually your success story. It works just like a marriage, because I still have my wife and I still have you.
So, Mr. Jaworski, we wanted to show you the new packaging for Goldenberg's Peanut Chews. Of course, it still has the same original chewy, chocolatey, peanutty taste. Would you like to try one?
Sure.
So,
Man, these are really good. Mm-hmm. What? Now that's chewing it old school.
The Soul are breaking down walls, along with records, the best in the Arena League. Another title in sight this summer. Get your seats now. Next home game, July 8th. 888-789-SOUL. And online at philadelphiasoul.com.
Our injury report is brought to you every week by 1-800-LUNDY-LAW. And for this upcoming week's game at Tampa Bay, out, we talk about the offensive linemen. Zip Duncan still recovering. Keon Purry, Jerome Hayes, Christian Johnson, the other big guard. Emery Salmon's questionable, wide receiver, and probable Kent Richardson, who hurt his finger in the win the other night. Dusty Bear and Dustin Barno. The injury report brought to you by 1-800-LUNDY-LAW, injury and disability lawyers serving Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Lundy Law is the official law firm of the Philadelphia Soul. Lou Tilley, Tom Goodhines, and now Doug Plank, the man after whom the show is named, the head coach of the Philadelphia Soul, who ran his record with the team to 12-3 now after 15 weeks, with the next home game, or rather the next away game coming up at Tampa Bay, and then a couple of home games. And Doug, how do you pull back on what you show your playoff opponents now with 3 games left that don't really mean anything to you in as far as the playoffs are concerned, or do you actually add to the portfolio?
Well, you can show everything you know in 5 minutes or less. So on defense, so I'm not worried about that.
That's right.
It's we're limited on our pass rush. Our coverages are pretty much determined even before the snap of the ball. The only thing that we can have control over is our personnel. We can mix up our personnel, pass rush, coverage-wise, so it really does look different when you start sticking different people in there. So, you know, we still have that opportunity, and we're excited. Tampa's, even though they don't have a great record, they have a lot of great athletes, so it's going to be a good
And they're in a
challenge.
hunt.
They're in the hunt. Yeah, they're just like many teams.
Now, there's a lot of the talk you mentioned. There's not much you can do with the play calling and that, but effort is a lot, and you got to make sure you're bringing it all the time. And I know we talked about this quite a bit. When you're not giving 100%, you're more likely to get hurt in those situations.
You know what happens too? It's not like there's some massive letdown. Just everyone just giving a little bit less. Instead of 100%, maybe it's 90% or 80%. It's hard to determine that when you just look at one person. Then multiply it by everybody on the team, and you see this massive decrease in production, in stopping, breaking up passes and tackling, or pass protection or whatever it is. So you really have to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you get to the end of the season.
One play that you must have loved, it was near the end of the game, the outcome was not in doubt, and yet they had first and goal at the 2-yard line, and they ran their fullback left, and Kaiser reads the play and blows it up, and you wind up with a touchdown the other way. Why are you laughing?
No, I was just shocked. Usually Rayshon Kaiser never goes to the turf when he tackles. He's got a unique technique where he can stand up and throw a guy on the ground. So nobody knew who that was until we went to the sideline. Nobody, no, that is not Kaiser.
Because he came in low and hard, man.
Yes, it was.
He blew it up, and then Justin Warren showed that he's an athlete, man. He's kicking up his heels from 48 yards.
It's one thing to be there to make a play, but 98% of it is making the play.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are there, the ball hits them in the hand. They fumble the ball. Not Justin Warren. He made a great play and made something of it.
Fantastic. If you haven't been able to come down and see the Soul yet, the next home game before the playoffs is coming up against Spokane. It's a revenge game for the Soul because they got scalped out in Washington. We did the game. That's coming up Sunday, July 8th. You can get your tickets now at 888-789-SOUL or go to PhiladelphiaSoul.com. And we will be broadcasting that one live for you from the Wells Fargo Center, kickoff at 6:05. We also want you to go on Facebook and like us. And simply by doing that, thanks to the folks at Sundance Vacations, you're entered in a contest to win 2 tickets to the Arena Bowl championship game in August, including 3 nights and 4 days on us. So we look forward to that. And the Philadelphia Soul will be over in Norristown on Saturday, July 7th, before that July 8th game, to take over the town of Norristown, specifically at the Elmwood Park Zoo, along with the Susquehanna Bank Town people. We thank them. Come and see the Soul players, get your autographs, drinks, see the Soulmates and more Saturday, July 7th at the Elmwood Park Zoo in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Thanks to Clint Dozell and Dan Rodabaugh. As always, to Tom Goodhines, and of course our host, the coach, Doug Plank, who is not going to let them let up because we got this. We'll see you soon every week here with Walk the Plank. I'm Lou Tilley. You have a good week.
Walk the Plank is presented by Valley Forge Casino Resort, located just 2 minutes from the King of Prussia Mall on North Gulf Road. And by Bud Light. Here we go.